is Anthony Hunter Rice, correct?
No, Your
And-
Honor. I don't think that's the correct. You may, is that the correct
Cause number?
cause number? I think
2020.
it- Go
Oh,
ahead,
wait a
Your
minute. Why am I? I've got. Okay, I got 2022 0D0 5445.
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
The other case, the older case was the 2022 0D0 3046.
That's the case that I'm dismissing, Your Honor. 3046.
This is the burglary of a building. And the other is the ag assault. Got it. Okay. Let's see. Your true and correct name is Anthony Hunter Rice.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you seen the copy of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Is your name spelled correctly there?
Yes, sir.
Do you wish for me to read the indictment, or do you all waive the reading of the
We waive,
indictment?
Your Honor, plead not guilty, Your Honor.
Okay, for the purpose of this arraignment.
Arraignment,
Now-
yes.
Okay, so now you have been officially, you've been officially arraigned on the charge. And now you have up to 10 days, to have your attorney prepare the case, or you can waive those 10 days and proceed to this plea that you all have set up today. Which is it that you wish to do?
Just wait.
We waive, Your Honor.
Okay,
Waive
so
the
we'll
10.
waive the 10 days. All right, so then, Ms. Espinosa, if you'll state the plea agreement on the record, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Under the 5445 case, it's to 5 years deferred probation. And dismiss the 3046 case.
5445 is 5 deferred probation. And dismiss the 3046, correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Correct.
All right,
Yeah, it's 2 years confinement, probated for 5, 2 for 5. It's
Right.
And $1,000 fine. And
All
200
right.
hours community service. Yes, Your Honor.
all right. And that's your understanding of the plea agreement, Mr. Trochet?
It is, Your Honor.
Is it also your understanding of the plea agreement, Mr. Rice?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you understand the plea agreement's not absolutely binding upon him, but should I choose not to follow it, should I choose to be harsher than that, you can withdraw your plea. We could proceed to a trial on this matter at a later date. But if I follow the plea agreement, it is final. You cannot withdraw your plea. You cannot appeal the case without my consent. You would start serving that probation immediately. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, now we have in front of us some documents marked State's Exhibit Number 1, the guilty plea and waiver form in this case. It bears the signature of your attorney, the state's attorney, and what appears to be your signature. Did you in fact sign these documents?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you read them before you signed them?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand what you were reading and signing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did your attorney further explain to you the meaning of the documents?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any question about their meaning?
No, sir.
So if there's never any question, let me briefly explain to you what they mean. Primarily 2 things. First, you're coming into court telling me through a judicial confession, yes, Judge, I did commit this offense. And secondly, you're telling me that you understand that you're giving up some valuable rights here today. The most important of those rights, the right to a trial by jury, not only upon the issue of guilt, not guilt, but also upon the issue of any potential punishment. Do you fully understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Understanding that, how do you plead to that indictment, guilty or not guilty?
I plead guilty, sir.
Are you entering your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did anybody force you, threaten you, coerce you, or in any way make you plead guilty?
No, sir.
Anybody promise you anything or persuade you in such a manner you felt you had to plead guilty, other than the plea agreement stated on the record in open court here this afternoon?
No, sir.
Okay, now you understand this is it's Berkeley building, so it's a state jail felony.
Correct, Your Honor.
So the punishment is not less than 6 months nor more than 2 years in the state jail. A fine not to exceed $10,000, but in lieu of that, I can place you on probation. And if it's on deferred, it can be anything from 2 to 10 years. You understand I'll sentence you somewhere within those general guidelines.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are a U.S. citizen.
Yes, sir.
How old are you, sir?
I'm 27 years old.
And how far did you go in school?
I graduated college for electrical technology.
That's very good. And so you can certainly read and write the English language.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been under the care of a psychiatrist or psychologist for any mental health, mental illness issues?
No, sir.
Suffered any serious head injuries?
No, sir.
Are you presently under any medications for mental health, mental illness issues?
No, sir.
Then you're telling me you are mentally competent, you understand everything that's going on.
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, you've had time to go over the facts and circumstances of the case, the legal aspects of the case, and had time to evaluate your client's mental status.
I have, Your Honor.
And based on all that, are you representing me that you believe he is mentally competent to enter this plea?
I believe he is, Your Honor. Yes, sir.
Then based on your representation, Mr. Trochet, your representation, Mr. Rice, the court's observations of you in court, both here today and prior occasions, I find that you're competent to enter the plea. State may summarize the evidence.
Yes, Your Honor, under cause number 2022-0D0-5445, the state would have proven beyond a reasonable doubt each and every element in the offense of burglary of the building as alleged in the indictment. The state moves to introduce state's exhibits 1 through 2, which are the plea papers and the 3914 disclosure form. And also, Your Honor, I do want to correct that the plea agreement is, as Mr. Trochet said, to a sentence of 2 years in the state jail prison. However, it's probated for 5 years.
Correct. All right. Any objection to the evidence?
No, Your Honor.
The evidence is received. Based on the evidence before the court finds the evidence sufficient to find the defendant guilty, but I am not finding you guilty because this is a deferred plea. And that means that I'll wait until some later date to find the adjudicator decide your case. That will be based on your conduct. If you do well on probation, whether it takes 5 years or any time less than that, if you can successfully complete that probation, the case against you is dismissed with no finding of guilt. And that it would end that charge. That would be a good way for probation to end for you. But if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you commit other offenses, you stop reporting, you violate your terms and conditions of probation, you could be brought back before the court. If I found that you had violated your probation, I could then revoke that deferred status, find you guilty, and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Understanding that, you still want me to grant your motion for deferred adjudication?
Your Honor, I'm sorry. This is not a deferred, it's an actual conviction.
Oh, you're going 5 years
Yes,
straight.
I misspoke, Your Honor. I apologize. It's a conviction to 2, probated for 5 years.
Okay, is that what you understood too, Mr. Trochet?
Let me double check, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. I'm looking at the plea agreement that we all signed, and it's 2 years confinement, correctional. Don't believe it's deferred. No, Your Honor.
Okay, then I have misspoken. I guess I was misinformed that it was not a deferred plea. It is a straight probation plea. Is that also your understanding then, Mr. Rice?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so what I told you about it being dismissed at some later date, no finding of guilt is not accurate. Do you still want to proceed on the plea, knowing that it is a final conviction?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, then let's see. Then I guess like I said, I found the evidence is sufficient to find the defendant guilty. I find the defendant guilty. I'm ready to proceed upon the issue of punishment. Let's see. What is there anything else holding you in jail?
No, sir.
Okay, so once you get out, what do you plan to do, sir?
Well, I'm a licensed electrician. I just plan to go apply at electric companies and spend time with my son.
Okay. Are you going to have a place to live and reside?
Yes,
staying at my
Your Honor,
sister.
if I may, I spoke to his wife and his sister. Their sister's going to put him up for a few days. They're going to find a room for him. They're renting a room, and he'll have a permanent address, both with his sister and with this room that they're getting for him.
So he's going to live at this new address with his sister or his wife or whom?
with the sister initially, Your Honor, as I understand it.
Okay. All right. And then, of course, you can get a good job and get back on your feet. Do you have children?
I have a son.
All right. How old is he?
He's 4 years old.
All right. And are you still on good terms with your wife? And
Yeah, we're on good terms.
Yes,
okay,
Your Honor, the problem is that his wife lives in a trailer park, and because of the nature of the initial charges that were filed against him, he's not allowed to live there, even though that case has been dismissed. But she's been in touch with me, and so is the mom and his sister. So the family is very much behind him, Your Honor.
okay. Well, I will follow the plea agreement then, 5 years probation, and good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Let's see,